And what is leading the decline is actually the Nifty PSU Bank. Obviously we had seen a sharp rally coming in these PSU stocks, in the last couple of months. But yes, that has changed. Yesterday also Nifty PSU Bank was down, ended lower in trade. Today also that fall has continued. Nifty PSU is down 2.7% in trade, 2.5% in trade as of now. While other than that, you have Nifty Media, which is down almost 1.5% as well, and even the realty sector is under pressure. All sectors are actually trading in the red today. Look at the broader markets. When you look at the broader markets, surely underperforming the benchmark indices. Whether you look at the Nifty Mid Cap, down 1.7% as we speak, while in terms of the Nifty Small Cap, that too is down almost 1% in trade as well. Let's look at some of the individual stock mover names. We have M&M, BPCL, ITC among the top losers in the Nifty 50, while among the top gainers, we're just seeing HUL with mild gains of around 0.4% in trade, while RIL also managing to just hold on with the positive side as well. So yes, seems like a day of red coming in on the D Street today, Shrishti.
Okay, so that's how the markets are flaring up right now. Definitely going with my color, Winnie, instead of you. But let's move forward, and it's going to be a Learning Friday for you all as we get you Buy Now, Sell Now Pathshala. Joining us now is Kunal Bothra, and let's understand from him what's the interesting topic that he has for us today. Kunal.
Good morning, Srishti. Good morning, everyone. So today's topic, which I've picked up, is a reversal pattern. And it's a candlestick pattern. It's a very interesting candlestick pattern. So the name goes by as Gravestone, Doji. Now this is a candlestick pattern which generally is, it occurs at major market tops for the, for stocks or as well as other asset classes and indices. Now what matters over here for the Gravestone Doji is the placement of this, candlestick pattern. So generally we've seen, for so many of the other historical studies which you've done, that Gravestone Doji generally occurs at major market tops. So basically it means that there are the candle is broken into 4 different parts. One is the the shadow of the candlestick, the upper shadow as well as the lower shadow, and the body of the candlestick. So those 3 are very important characteristics to look out for in terms of Gravestone Doji. Now in Gravestone Doji, the upper shadow of the body of the candle is extremely large. There is very small or almost negligible lower candle or lower shadow for the body. And the body of the candle is very, very small. So which means that it indicates that there is selling right from the top of the indices or the asset class, and the stock or the index generally close into the lowest point of the day. The first chart which you can see is on the Dow Jones as the index got into a Gravestone Doji pattern, which I've marked in the square box. And then you see post that Gravestone Doji, the index actually goes into a short-term selling pressure for itself, corrects consecutively by bearish candlestick patterns. And the second chart is on the Bank Nifty, which again is very similar, that when you see a Gravestone Doji pattern getting formed, we expect the Bank Nifty or any kind of an asset class to top out. And here also you've seen that the topping out formation has happened, and post that the asset class or Bank Nifty in this case has gone through a very sharp correction. So these are very important patterns, candlestick patterns, and in the due course of Pathshala sessions over the next couple of weeks, I would be indicating more of such reversal patterns on the candlestick.
Okay, thank you so much, Kunal, for taking us through what exactly is that Gravestone candlestick pattern is. We miss you in the studios, but it was interesting knowing you through the Skype as well. But I just wanted to know that it is because of the market timing that you chose this topic, because keeping the mood market in check?
The idea was to, we keep discussing the momentum patterns, but this time around, it was very important to discuss some reversal patterns.
Okay, so that's an interesting take coming in, and an interesting topic and an interesting learning from Kunal Bothra. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a short break, but don't go anywhere, because coming right back, we'll be taking up your stock queries, so stay tuned.
is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you asked, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs. ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you asked, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs. ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you asked, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees.
Welcome back, and you're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Before we get to your stock-related queries, actually, let's get us some advice coming in from Vikas Sethi on how one should actually, as an investor, protect themselves from the volatility, from the upfalls to downfalls. What should an investor do? Whether it's short-term or long-term. Vikas, what would you advise an investor to do to protect themselves from this? Vikas, good morning. Vikas, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Vikas, so, I just wanted to know in terms of, what is your view actually coming in on the markets? How should an investor actually protect themselves from this volatility? What should one be doing?
Yeah, good morning. As far as this is concerned, like investors protect themselves from this volatility, that is not possible. The markets would continue to remain volatile. And I think the best thing an investor could do could be to use this market for long-term investments. And I think the recent fall in our markets, we've corrected from levels of 18,900 to current levels of closer to 18,300. And Fed meeting yesterday and the commentary, more so the commentary post the 50 basis point rate hike, was not liked by the markets. And I think at the current levels, we should not fall much more from here. And this current fall in the markets is presenting a very good opportunity for long-term investors to acquire good quality stocks, particularly bullish on banking stocks from here on again, although they participated in the rally, but over the last 2 days, they've also corrected sharply. I think they could be doing well from here. And one thing which all investors should keep in mind is that we certainly would see a year-end rally because a lot of NAV management is done during the before the close of the year, and then we'll be heading towards our union budget on 1st of February. So I remain bullish on the markets, and I think this correction in the markets is presenting a very good opportunity for medium to long-term investors to buy into this market.
Okay, so this market is getting opportunities for medium to long-term investment perspective, but markets may continue to be volatile. And along with that, Vikas continues to be bullish, and he's bullish on financial space. But with this, viewers, let's kickstart your queries. And Vikas, as you are bullish on the financial space, let me ask you one of the questions on financial stocks as well. Vinci has sent us questions, and he wants to know the short-term outlook on DCB Bank. What will be your take on this particular counter? Because if we say in the past 6 months, the stock is already up 73%. What's the view?
Now, as I just now, we have seen a very good, fairly good rally, a strong rally in most of the banking stocks, and particularly the smaller sized banks. They've seen spectacular rally over the last 1 month or so, and I think they would head higher even from these levels. Banking as a sector looks good. But I think if one were to make a fresh investment now or buy even from a trading point of view, I think the private sector banking stocks, which had been a laggard for some time now, should start performing. So my top bets from the private sector banking space would be an Axis Bank and an ICICI Bank at the current levels.
Okay. Moving on, and actually, Kunal, coming to you, and there's a query which we have coming in from Satya CK, and this one especially on PEL, that's Piramal Enterprises. They want to know that what is the stop loss that one should look at Piramal Enterprises if they've bought it today at 888, and what is the target to sell this stock as well then? And good morning to you, Kunal.
Yeah, good morning, Vinny. So, in the morning also and yesterday, in fact, initiated a buy on Piramal Enterprise. If you've bought at 888 levels, stick to a stop loss which may be closer to 860 mark, but then give yourself a bandwidth of possibly 1,000 plus as a target for Piramal Enterprise. I would sense that this is a much higher probability trade for the stock over the near term. So if you can stay put with a stop loss of 860, I believe possibly 1,000 plus target for Piramal Enterprise could be seen over the very near term.
Okay, that's the view coming in on Piramal Enterprise. Moving on, Sandeep has been writing to us, and Sandeep wants to know from you, Vikas, what's the take on TTML? He has bought 300 shares at a price of ₹100, and since the start of this year, as we know, we have discussed a lot about this stock. The stock is down 54% on a YTD basis, but since the month of October, holding on to those 100-odd levels. But moving forward, any fundamental triggers, or you see the stock giving good returns? What will be your view?
No, again, TTML is a stock where fundamentals do not seem okay as of now, but then things should start looking good in the times to come, and that is what is reflected in the run-up which we've seen in the stock over the last 1.5 years. Although the stock went to highs of 250 plus, and from there it has corrected to the current levels of 100, I think the stock at the current levels looks good from a holding perspective, and I would advise the investor to continue to hold on to this stock.
Okay. Let's move on then to the next one, and this query, Kunal, we have is coming in, and this one is on Masgao Dock. The viewer wants to understand and know, is it actually the right time to look at Masgao Dock? This query is coming in from Humaira Sheikh. What is the technical view on this one?
So I would believe that yes, this could be a good time to start accumulating Mazagon Dock. But then, there are two concerns over here. One, of course, is that the recent run-up has been very steep for these defense odd names, and Mazagon Dock, of course, is no exception. So, which means you are trying to buy the stock at the high end of the price curve, and there could be a very high probability that the stock may go into a price-wise correction. So, if you can try and take advantage of that correction, it would be a better strategy. Maybe a buy on dips from current levels could be something you can look out for. The other important thing is that the stock has done exceptionally well. I think it's run up some 2.5x or 3x in the last few quarters. Now, in that regards, there could be a possibility that the stock may not just go into a price-wise correction, but it may also go into a time-wise correction. So you have to be ready for more of a patience zone for stocks like Mazagon Dock. So if you can buy on dips and look out for longer-term strategy, longer-term time frame, then I think it makes sense to buy the stock and start buying at current levels.
Okay, the next query coming in from Dr. Gopesh and Kunal. He wants to know on one of the stocks that has been on your radar as well, Tata Motors. Dr. Gopesh bought at a price of 440 odd levels, facing some bit of a loss in single digits. But what to do? Add more or wait for some more time?
I think you should look to add more, but I believe, as I said many times back as well, that a better price to add Tata Motors would be if the stock corrects below the 400 mark. So I think 384 or 388 was the previous major lows for Tata Motors, from where the stock has bounced back. I am bullish on Auto Pack overall, and my belief is that the auto stocks are going through a big cyclical turnaround, which could be a multi-month, multi-quarter, as well as a multi-year uptrend for the Auto Pack as such. So if you're looking to time your entry point back again on Tata Motors and looking to average, I would suggest sub 400 levels could be a good point where you can look to average.
Okay. The next query we have is coming in on Coforge. Vikas, this one is for you. And it's coming in from Jay Krishnan from Kerala. Wants to know, he has Coforge at 4,105 rupees. Medium term, what is your view coming in for this? Should they continue to hold, sell or look to average?
Yeah, Vinny, although IT stocks are not performing currently, but I remain hopeful. The companies have very good fundamentals, and Coforge particularly also has corrected from its highs of close to 6,000 to the current levels. And the investor or the trader has bought it at a price which is not much higher than the current market price, and I think he can stay put with the stock, and I'm sure if he stays invested or if he stays put with the stock for some more time, he would see his levels and see some profits also. So my recommendation would be to hold on to the stock at the current levels.
Okay, we're moving on. The next query coming in from Mukesh Pujara, and because he's holding 4,000 shares of restaurant brand Asia at a price of 165. What he should do, his time frame of investment is 1 to 1.5 years. He should hold, buy more or sell at these levels.
Sorry, I didn't get the name of the stock.
Restaurant brand Asia, Burger King.
Okay, Burger King. Okay, these stocks would do well over a period of time. I particularly like Jubilant FoodWorks from this QSR space, but I think Burger King also would do well. So my recommendation would be to hold on to the stock.
Kunal, this next query we have is coming in on GMM Pfaudler. Obviously, we know there's a block deal that has happened today. And, we've seen the stock price seeing a bit of a fall coming in there as well. Now, Santi wants to know that whether actually, does it start looking attractive actually to start buying the stock given the current situation?
I would suggest no. I would probably refrain from buying these kind of names, because when you see after a strong bit of consolidation, if a stock actually sees a major gap down, then that gap down is actually a point where you can expect the near-term trends to reverse. Now, the question over here is that are you looking out for a trade over here and you're expecting a bounce back of 3-4-5%? Yes, then you can initiate that buy trade. But if you're in from a longer-term view, and then if you're expecting that the stock would go into a very V-shaped kind of a recovery, I think the probability of that happening could be very, very low. So unless your time frame is very short term, maybe like a 1 to 2 kind of a time frame, I would suggest an avoid on GMM Pfaudler.
Okay, moving on. The next query coming in from Raghuram from Bhubaneswar and Vikas. He wants to know your take on two counters. Firstly is Canfin Homes. He's holding 1,000 shares at a price of 510, having mild gains in this particular investment. And the other one he has is Motherson Sumi, that is Samvadna Motherson Wiring. He has at the price of 70. For the next 3 months, what will be your target?
I think both the stocks are good quality stocks, and the investor can continue to hold on to them. And I think in the next 3 months, we could easily see an upside of say 8 to 10% of both the stocks. So my recommendation would be to hold on to these stocks.
Kunal, next query. Actually, BEL, we have a couple of viewers who have a query on this. One is from Naveen, another one is from SA. So SA has bought 2,000 shares of BEL at an average price of 106. What would be the target that you're suggesting? And also, is it actually a good time to buy BEL at current levels then?
Well, I think it's a good time to start nibbling into the stock. Now, as I said, that most of the defense names like Mazagon Dock, etc., these stocks are going through their own phase of correction. Now, even BEL has started off a phase of correction. I think from 106 or 108, the stock is almost at 99, 99 and a half odd levels for itself currently, which means that the correction over the last couple of days is a bit more stronger for BEL. Now, that could also mean that the stock may go through another 6 to 7 rupee kind of a correction. So if you're looking to buy, then I think, or looking to average, then I think closer to 93, 94 is where you should look to average BEL.
Taking the next query of Mehul Suri from Delhi, and because he's holding CAMS since IPO, but he's looking to add more at the current prices, will that be a good bet to enter? Because he's already having around 66% gains, but from the levels of around 3,000 odd levels, the stock is now down to 2,200. What will be your view on that?
No, first, he's bought a good quality stock and should stay put with whatever he had bought earlier. And as far as buying at the current levels is concerned, I remain bullish on this, and I think one can easily buy into this stock at the current levels. The stock has corrected from its recent highs and trades at reasonable valuations now. The valuations were exaggerated, or it had turned out a bit expensive at closer to 3,000 odd levels. But I remain bullish on the sector, the kind of opportunity which these kind of companies are seeing, with the kind of growth which we are seeing in the retail, in the number of retail investors, and the government is also trying its best to improve the equity cult in India. So I think this stock would continue to do well. So he can continue to hold on to his position and also buy some more at the current levels. No problems.
Okay. Kunal, this next query, again, we have a couple of viewers who are asking on IRCTC. Now, Vinod wants to know whether IRCTC is good to invest or is it in equity or a put option, while Chandan Jain also wants to know, is it a good time to start buying IRCTC now today?
I think it could be a time where one should look to avoid IRCTC, at least as of now. See, what happens is when OFSs are announced, I've seen that for many of the PSU names, historically, these stocks, they tend to go into a very shallow kind of a trend or a range for itself. Look at the other way around. Now, pre the OFS or just before the news actually came out for the stock price, whether the stock was into any kind of a major trend, absolutely not. It was into a consolidation. And now with the news flow, the stock has broken that lower end of the consolidation, which means that the stock has not confirmed a breakout. Now, when you're buying such kind of a name, which has a lot of news flow attached towards it, there could be a lot of volatility, which could be, come back into the stock price. So even though it looks very attractive in terms of price point, but you have to wait out for the point where the prices come back into a strong support zone and the news flow or the events absorb significantly. As of now, those points are not yet reached for IRCTC, according to my view.
Okay, moving on. The next query coming in from Subramanya Swamy, because he is a long-term investor and he is holding L&T Finance Holdings, 1,400 shares at a price of 71 rupees, sitting at a good gains. But should he continue to hold on? And if the answer is yes, then what should be the targets that he should be looking out for?
Yeah, again, a good stock, and we've seen a good run-up also in the stock over the last month or so. And the stock is showing tremendous strength in this kind of a weak market. Over the last, say, few days when NBFCs were not performing, this stock was doing well. So I think he should continue to hold on to his position. And in the, next 3 to 6 months, we could see levels of 110, 115 on this stock.
Okay. On that note, viewers, we're actually going to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere because we will be taking your stock-related queries even after this break.
Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs. ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs. ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees,
Welcome back, and you're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. This is a show where we'll be taking your stock-related queries, and we are continuing with that. And if you have not sent us your queries, you can send it to us on WhatsApp, our YouTube channel, or on Twitter as well. So keep us sending your queries. But Vikas, coming to you and continuing with the queries. This query we have is coming in on Zomato. It's from Pratt, who's from Chennai. Wants to know, can they look to buy Zomato at the current market price, even if they have a long-term view?
No, again, as I was discussing at the time of that Burger King, that I like the QSR space as a sector, but Zomato had its problems in the past. But I think at the current levels, one can certainly hold on to it and should look for opportunities to buy around, say, 55 odd levels if it comes to that. So during days when the markets correct sharply, the stock could come down further. And I think 55 odd levels would be a good level to enter this stock.
Okay, the next query coming in from Sushil Kumar, and this is a query for you, Kunal. He has bought Indiabulls Housing Finance at a price of 158. He's holding since months this particular counter, but going forward in the next 1 to 2 quarters, what will be the view coming in for this counter?
So there are two things. One is that the stock is a long distance away from coming anywhere closer to its lifetime highs, which means that the repair work for the stock is still not done. The other way to look at it is on the short-term charts, and that is very recently that Indiabulls Housing Finance, the stock has broken past about the 200 moving average. Now that I believe is a good sign, at least a sign that possibly the near-term trend is getting a bit more better than what it was maybe a couple of quarters back for Indiabulls Housing Finance. But the only concern with the stock, or the bigger concern, is that the stock has a very high volatile nature. So if you are okay with holding on to stock and maybe seeing those swings of 15%, 20% in either direction, only then it makes sense to hold on to the stock. Otherwise, I think if the stock comes closer to your cost price or maybe at 164, 165 levels, those are good levels where you can look to exit and then buy back again when the stock corrects sharply, maybe towards levels of 135, 138.
Okay, this next query, Vikas, we have, and it is on Asian Paints. Purnima wants to know whether it's a good time to buy an average Asian Paints. They're currently holding the stock at around 3,112 rupees per share.
No, again, a great quality stock, and I've been bullish on the paint sector as a whole because crude prices have come down sharply from 120 odd levels to 80 odd levels, although they've gone up recently. But I think these levels warrant for these paint companies to start doing well again. So, and Asian Paints being the leader in the sector, I think would continue to do well. The stock has also corrected from its highs and available at pretty reasonable levels. So, I think one should continue to hold on to Asian Paints at the current level.
Okay, that's a hold on Asian Paints. But the next query coming in from Tushar and Vikas, let me take it up from you. He wants to know GMM Pfaudler, after the sharp fall that we are seeing in this particular counter after the mega block deal where 16% of the equities has already changed its hand, is this a good point to enter in this particular counter?
Yeah, again, it's a fundamentally great stock. The stock has created humongous wealth for its long-term investors. Although the stock has corrected today by close to 15% because of the block deal which is happening and which is seeing a substantial chunk changing hands. But I think it's a good quality company, and I think today's fall is a very good opportunity for medium to long-term investors to buy into this stock and stay put for medium to long-term.
Kunal, this next query we have, and this one is coming in on Birlasoft. G1 is holding 500 shares of Birlasoft at 309 rupees per share. Wants to know what's the view for a 2 to 3 month time period. Should they continue to hold this? What's the target that you're keeping?
Yeah, I think Birlasoft, you can continue to hold on to it. As of now, the stock patterns and the charts are looking quite okay. So what has happened is that the mid-cap end of the IT stocks, they had already gone through a bit of correction for themselves. Now, Birlasoft, I think if I'm not wrong, has corrected from 335 to almost 304.5 levels where the stock is currently trading right now. So which means that it's gone through a major part of correction. Your buy price or your cost price is not at an extremely high levels for you to be a bit more jittery in terms of holding the stock. I would suggest that you should hold on to Birlasoft if possible, and in case if the stock provides an opportunity of a further leg of correction, maybe a 295 level could be a point where you can look to average further.
Okay, the next query coming in from Nevandu Sharma, and Vikas, he wants to know take on two counters, both from the same group, Samvardhana Motherson Sumi and Motherson Sumi Wiring. We have already discussed about the wiring part of it, but what will be your take on Samvardhana Motherson Sumi for the next 2 to 3 years? What's your take? Because in the auto and the auto ancillary pack, this is one of those counters which have not performed well. Going forward, do you expect the tides to turn?
Yes, I think that this stock would also do well because the problems which the company has been facing is mainly from its European sector, European segment. This has a significant presence in Europe, and since Europe is not doing well, we are seeing a substantial fall in the stock. But then I think from here on, I expect things to normalize in Europe in the say 6 months or next 1 year or so. And I think since the investor has a long-term horizon, he or she could buy into the stock at the current levels and hold it for 2 to 3 years. And I'm sure the stock would give substantial returns from the current levels.
Because actually I'm going to come back to you, and this query we have is coming in from Vimla, and it's on FACT. Now they have 1,000 shares of FACT currently at 55 rupees. Good idea to sell or continue to hold this one?
No, again, fertilizer sector would do well, and I'm bullish on the entire sector, and particularly ahead of the budget, this sector performs well. Although we've seen a very spectacular rally in most of the fertilizer companies recently, but I think there's some more steam left. So I would maintain a hold at the current levels.
Okay, sorry Vikas, we are coming back to back with you, but Rakesh Tanmay has shared his query on Shiva Cement. He has bought 5,000 shares at a price of 39, and we are seeing consolidation happening in this particular counter. But what are the future prospects for this particular counter? He's already sitting at a decent gains, but do you track this company and what's the outlook?
Now, I could track this company very closely, and since the investor is sitting on gains, I think it would be advisable to book profits here, and there are umpteen number of good quality or better quality cement stocks where he could put his money in and stay invested for long term. So I think the right strategy would be to book profits here and switch to some other better quality cement stock. I remain bullish on the sector.
Okay, but Kunal, cement counters, you also have been tracking. Anything on charts you can suggest to him?
So I would suggest maybe an UltraTech Cement or Shree Cement at current levels. I think the other names like ACC, Ambuja, they have run up exceedingly high. The risk reward is a bit more unfavorable into these kind of names. I think the likes of UltraTech, Shree Cement, these stocks have not rallied up significantly. They are not near their lifetime highs or broken those levels as well. So I think purely from a risk reward play, these two are the stocks from the cement pack which I would recommend.
Kunal, I'm going to come to you, and obviously we've spoken about PSU banks, the up moves coming in the PSU banks as well. Now, KR Balan wants to know actually, given we've seen that fall coming in the last couple of days for the PSU banks, should they continue to actually hold whether they're looking at PNB or Bank of Maharashtra, Canara Bank, Yes Bank, Bob? What's the view overall coming in on these stocks, and should they continue to actually hold the PSU bunch?
See, first of all, it depends on what's your entry price for these names. Now, if your entry price is maybe 20%, 30% lower than the current market price, then I don't see any reason why you should be looking to, exit the stock or be in a hurry to book profits over here. These stocks had run up exceedingly high, first of all. And I think over the last couple of days as well, I think I've been advocating that these stocks are entering into what we call as an extremely overbought territory. And when stocks enter into these extreme overbought territories, there are bound to be phases of corrections. Now, after a rally of 100%, it's bound to be that these stocks may correct by 20%, 25% on an average from their previous major highs. So what first depends is what's your cost price, what's your entry price. If it's at a lower level, then I think you should continue to hold on. And if you're looking to add further, then I believe that wait out for the phase where these stocks correct by 20% at least from the previous major highs. That would be a very good point for you to start nibbling in, averaging it out, and then adding on to the quantities.
Okay, but another stock which has shown great returns in the past 6 months is HCC, up around 76% in the past 6 months. And Mr. Vikas Sahil has sent his question on this particular counter. He has bought around 1,250 shares at a price of 22 rupees 15 paise. Still at loss because he entered at the higher levels. What's the view coming in and what's happening in this counter?
Now, again, not a great company as far as fundamentals are concerned. From the infra space, there are better opportunities available. But most of the stocks from the infra sector have been doing well, and this has also participated in the rally. Maybe there could be some good positive news in the offing, but I think he's bought it at a higher price than the current market price and sitting on some losses. But I think he can continue to hold on to this. I'm seeing traction in even infrastructure stocks ahead of the budget. So I think he would see his price and even profits beyond his price in the times to come.
Vikas, I'm going to come back to you. We have this query which is actually coming in from Manjunath Reddy, and this one is on Jyoti Resins and Adhesive Limited. They're holding 600 shares at a price of 790 rupees per share. Should they book profits or should they continue to hold? They are a long-term investor in this. So what's your view on this one?
No, again, I do not follow this stock very closely, but the valuations look very expensive at the current levels. The stock trades at close to 50, 60 times its earnings. So I think since the investor is sitting on profits, it would be prudent to book some profits and switch to some cheaper stocks.
Okay, moving on, the next query coming in. from Vino. And Kunal, any take on LIC, because he has what, 150 shares at a price of 700 rupees, and in the past 1 month the stock is seeing some momentum. But what's the outlook, longer term outlook, if you can help him with?
See, it's very difficult to give a longer term outlook because of the very restricted history the stock offers in terms of prices. But then, the recent charts, and I think I discussed LIC India over the last few days as well. Now, there was a resistance around the 680 mark, 680 or 684 to be precise, for LIC India. Now, the stock has broken past about that 684 levels. It went up to, I think, as much as 720, 725. And from there, the stock is correcting back again to that 700 pivot range. So, which means that in effect, in the last 1 or 2 months, the stock has formed technically a higher high and a higher low pattern. Now, that is always considered to be a initial sign that a near-term trend is emerging to be quite strong for LIC. Now, I would believe that if you bought LIC at 700 odd levels, you should continue to hold on. Maybe give it another couple of months. If the stock is able to break past about the 725 mark, which it created a high a few days back, then the uptrend could be confirmed, and we may be looking at a much stronger and a much swifter upside for the stock.
Okay. On that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. Viewers, don't go anywhere, because we'll be taking your stock-related queries even after this break. So our experts, do hold on with us as well.
Right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs. ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
But if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs. ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
But if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each pass,
Welcome back, and let's keep it going with your stock related queries. Vikas, this next query we have is coming in from Natarajan Ramesh, and this one is on Bharat Forge. Is it a good time to buy Bharat Forge for a 2-year time period right now?
No, again, Vinny, a very good quality stock, and the stock also has been doing well over the last few days, and I think this would continue to do well. So my advice to the investor would be to look for opportunities to buy into it, use a staggered manner to be accumulating the stock, meaning he can buy some quantity at the current levels and can wait for some correction where if he finds a better levels, he could add some more. So long term, I'm bullish on the stock.
Okay, moving on, the next query coming in from Kaushik Mitra, and Kunal, this one is for you. Is this a good entry level to get into BEL today, or what's the view for the next 1 year?
So bullish on the stock from a 1-year perspective, but may not be the best entry point. 99 is where the stock is trading approximately. I think a better entry point for BEL would be around 93, 94. And I think you should try and take advantage of this 5% to 7% correction every now and then from your pre-purchase point. That would be a point where you can look to average for the stock.
Okay. Vikas, given that you did mention about, you have a strong view coming in on hospitals. We have a couple of queries, and this one is on Kowai Medicals and Hospital Center. So one viewer has bought this at around 1,430 rupees per share, 500 shares. What is your medium to long-term view coming in on this one then?
No, again, fundamentally a good quality stock and trades at pretty reasonable valuations. When you look at other stocks in the hospital sector and the kind of valuations they trade at, this stock looks very cheap at closer to around 18-20 price earnings multiple. So I think the investor should continue to hold on to the stock, and he's already earning good profits. I think it's closer to 15-20% high, more than its acquisition price. But from here on also, I think we could see much higher levels, and I would maintain a hold at the current levels.
Okay, the next query is from a long-term investor, that is Professor Thomas V. George. And Mr. Vikas, he wants to know the take on two counters. Firstly is Craftsman's Auto, and the other one is TTK Healthcare. What's the view?
Now, as far as Craftsman Auto is concerned, a great quality stock. I've recommended this stock also quite a number of times at pretty low levels. The stock has done really well. It's a good quality auto component company, and I think would continue to do well. So there's no worry as far as Craftsman Automation is concerned. One could continue to hold on to it and even look for opportunities to buy into the stock from a long-term perspective. The second stock which you said was, could you please name the stock again?
TTK Healthcare, Vikas.
TTK Healthcare, again, I do not follow this stock very closely, so would not be able to offer my opinion on the same.
Kunal, on technical charts, I see that the stock is not doing much, but if you can help this viewer.
No, so even I would recommend that you should avoid TTK Healthcare. I think the stock is into a downward trend, at least as of now. So would not recommend a buy on TTK Healthcare. In case if you're looking to hold on to the stock or looking for a view as such, if you are holding, then I think you should look out for any kind of a bounce into these kind of names to exit.
Okay. Vikas, I'm going to come to you with this next query, and this one is actually on Goodyear. Mayank wants to know if is it a good time to actually add more of this stock for a 2-year time period? They currently have some holding in this. They've not mentioned a price or anything here yet.
The stock has really done well over the last few months and in line with the other stocks in the tire space. And I think this rally would continue. So I remain bullish on the stock, but since the stock has already run up, so one could wait for correction in the stocks to be buying into it. I think closer to 1,050 or 1,000 odd levels would be a great price to enter this stock, and an investor can buy for long term at those prices.
Very coming your way, Kunal. It's from Pratiksha, and she entered into SRF at a price of 2,500. What's the view for the next 3 to 6 months? What are the levels that she should be looking out for when it comes to the support and the resistance?
See, it's a bit tricky because SRF is now going into a bit of a corrective phase for itself. So earlier, I was actually expecting the stock to take a major support at 2,300 approximately. It's bounced off from those levels. But then the bounce is not sustaining, very strong for the stock. In fact, 2,500, 2,600 has been a major resistance point for SRF over the last 1.5 odd month. So which means that the stock would still take some time to consolidate. So if you're looking for a classic support point or a point where you can look to average further, then I think sub that 2,300 mark, maybe 2,250 approximately, could be a good point where you can look to average for SRF.
And with that, let's just get started with the rapid fire. And, Kunal, I'm going to come with you. We have Richa who's asking about BHEL. Is it a good time to buy this one? They have a medium-term view?
Well, I think yes. I think at around 81 levels, you can look to start buying and probably look to average closer to 76 points.
Vikas R. Ahuja wants to know, is this a good time to enter into Godavari Power and GE Shipping for the next 1 year?
Yeah, both the stocks are good, and I think one could find it.
Kunal, Gauri Gupta wants to know, good time to buy Poonawalla FinCorp as a fresh investment at current levels.
I think the stock was in some sort of a news flow a couple of days back. So I think in that regard, you can probably be a bit lower in terms of position sizing. But yes, it's a good stock where you can look to hold from long term.
Okay, Kunal, Manju from Chennai wrote to us that she wants to accumulate Madras fertilizers and looking for a swing trade in this particular counter. What's your view?
I think if I'm not wrong, the stock has gone up exponentially high in the last couple of days. So if you're buying right now, you could be buying at the much higher in the price target. I would suggest an avoid. Possibly if you're looking to buy, maybe at 57 levels or 60, it would be a better price to buy the stock.
Okay. Vikas, Godfrey D'Souza wants to know, can they buy M&M or Tata Motors? Which one would be a better bet for the long term?
Though M&M has performed much better than Tata Motors, but I think at the current levels, Tata Motors looks better. If one could find Tata Motors better.
Okay, Vikas, Sudhir from Bangalore, he's holding GNFC at a price of 650. What's the view till budget?
Continue to hold on to the stock. Good quality stock and particularly sector of good height of budget.
Okay, Kunal, Bombay Mowa Trading Company for a short term at the current market price, would you advise a buy?
I would suggest an avoid at current market price.
Okay, Kunal Vishwanathan Nair wants to know, is this a good time to buy GRSE?
Well, yes, I think it could be a good time to buy GRSE. And as I said earlier, that a buy on dips is what I would recommend for these kind of names.
Okay, and that was the last query for today. Thank you so much, Kunal, as well as Vikas, for joining in with us this morning, as well as thank you so much, viewers, for sending us all your stock-related queries. But with that, it's an end to this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Thank you so much from Shrishti, myself, as well as the team who put this show together.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल।
I think that this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs. ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs. ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be...
D Street falls much less than global peers. L&T RIL lent support to the index markets. Broader markets, however, see deeper cuts. Auto media lag. PSU banking see profit booking.
India will continue to outperform in the coming year. That's the verdict coming in from one of the biggest market voices. From IT to infrastructure and financials, they remain optimistic about growth prospects across all sectors.
Reliance Industries gearing up, heating up for the essential space, FMCG space that is, with new brand Independence, with the launch of its product, will compete against players like Adani Wilmar, Patanjali Food and a lot more.
GMM Pfaudler plunges almost 15% after more than 7 million shares changed hands in a block deal, which is more than 15% of the total equity of the company. According to reports, a promoter was looking to sell a majority stake for over 2,000 crore rupees.